Hello everybody, here we are today talking about the New Jersey Devils, a team that could go from missing the playoffs last year to winning the division just a season later. But before we get started with it, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. Being said, let's get on into it. So New Jersey in 2023 made the postseason and had their best regular season in franchise history, followed it up with a 7th place finish in their division. Obviously failed to qualify for the postseason, and they entered this year, I think, kind of wondering what they'd be. But they're in a spot right now where they could go out there and win the Metro Division. There are still a lot of games to be played in the year, but this is something that is exciting, and I did kind of want to talk about them because Jersey is one of those teams since the season previews that I haven't talked about. So at this stage, you have to say props to New Jersey for getting off the good start to the year and not letting a bad season last year where they had more games played than points end up kind of derailing what they've got going for them. They could have said, oh, this teammate's a problem, this guy's a problem, or I don't want to be here, whatever the case is. Instead, they've been able to have a good beginning of things, and even with a 3-game skid at the early stages of the year, they rebounded nicely, as since October 27th, they've gone 16-7-1 and have one of the best points percentages in the league in that time, and are a side that has not had back-to-back losses since October. The makings of a division winner? Maybe. And I think at this stage of the year, we probably can put New Jersey in the status of division contender, as it looks like there's just going to be 3 teams in the Metro that are capable of winning this. The Devils obviously being one of those sides, but also the Washington Capitals and the Carolina Hurricanes. There are a couple of things that have kind of gone their way for New Jersey this year that may end up helping them win their division, primarily one of their rivals, the New York Rangers, after winning the President's Trophy, have been in a huge rut, ended up trading their captain Jacob Trouba and then former 2nd overall pick Kaapo Kakko, and a trade the other day with the Seattle Kraken, and that is just something where it probably puts a smile on the face of Devils fans out there. Then you have some distance between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So again, kind of circling back to this, there really are only 2 other teams you have to worry about, and that's probably a good thing. When you get further and further in the year, maybe another team drops off and it's just you and another side. The biggest threat right now, though, probably is the Washington Capitals. They are 1 point back, and they've got, I think, 4 games in hand at the moment. So Washington could pose a serious threat to the Devils' status as winning the Metro, or their ability to win the Metro. But the reality is, for New Jersey, just got to write it out, play the games in front of you. Still a ton of games left to be played. Maybe Washington falters, or New Jersey is just that good. But another thing that I think is really exciting when looking at this team in terms of possibly winning the division, they have got a lot of really good games coming up here. Games against the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. Devils playing the Devils would be kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, so those games there against some fellow Metro sides before you get a back-to-back against the Carolina Hurricanes towards the end of December. Now, this wouldn't really make it a 2-horse race if New Jersey ended up snagging all 4 points here in this game, and of course putting the Hurricanes in a spot where maybe they lose in regulation in both those games, but it would put a little more distance between them and Carolina. And the Hurricanes have kind of been in a rut too. Things have kind of been weird for them after they had a good start to the year. It's okay though for New Jersey because they would like Carolina to get in a bit of a rut. So 4 straight divisional games after what we saw with the game against Columbus, that would actually be a 5th straight. But for the Devils, you have to be excited knowing that the potential to have a good into 2024 is right there for them. Now, as for the numbers, what exactly are they telling us? Well, they're telling us that you should be afraid if you are a team playing against New Jersey. They're competing with Winnipeg to be the top team in the league for power play, or power play percentage, I should say. They are a side that is top 10 in the league for goals for per 60. I believe at all strengths, and are a group that in the period where it's been, like 23, 24 games since their, 3-game skid, has the lowest goals against per 60 in the league. That is promising. And while you look at the numbers from guys like Jacob Markstrom and Jake Allen, the save percentage isn't anything that you say, wow, this is super impressive, especially for a guy like Markstrom where it is sub 910. But you do realize that this is a team that can score a lot of goals, that also has the ability to hold teams to 3 goals or less, sometimes 2, even 1. And that's where you feel really good and optimistic if you're New Jersey. You have to imagine here that if the Devils can kind of keep that up, they will be in that spot where they can contend for that Metro Division by the end of the year. Now, what about the bad stuff? This is something that was a little bit harder, probably could have dug a little bit deeper, but I do think one thing that's getting overlooked here for some people is the fact that New Jersey has had a lot of guys that have been healthy this year. Prior to them playing Columbus, they had 11 players that have played all 34 games for them for the season. That number has got to go down by the end of the year because there's no way 11 guys are going to stay healthy for the entirety of the year. Then you look at a guy like Timo Meier. He ended up only missing 1 game at this stage of the season. Big names playing all these games is obviously a great thing for them. but you would be hard-pressed to be that lucky by the end of the year where Broad, Hughes, Heischer, Meyer, all of these guys don't miss some time. So that's something that could be holding them back. And then one thing that is really obvious for this side is the fact that they've been shut out a decent amount of times, 5 times on the year. And until they scored 2 late goals against Columbus the other night, it was actually going to be 6 games where they ended up getting shut out. So it's not really that uncommon to see this team go out there and be scoreless. So if you have a game where they see their goalies allow 2 goals, you could possibly see them lose a 2-0 game. It really wouldn't be that shocking. By the end of the year, I'll be curious to see if that number goes up. Let's say that they had, something like 12 to 15 games where they are held off the board. I don't know where that would rank among the league, but you have to imagine that it would kind of be towards the top end of the good teams especially. So just one of those deals where health and the impossibility of not getting goals when they need to could be a huge issue for this team. But that all being said, they look like they'll be a top 3 team in their division, and by the end of the year, they very well could be top in the Metro. I think that they will be. I said at the beginning of the year, I feel really good about this New Jersey side. I was super hype on them going into last year, and I kind of held the faith throughout there going into this year. I feel pretty good about them being a top 2 team in the division, and I would just say that with this, it really would be fun to see if them and Washington were able to go down to the wire. Washington hasn't had a lot of really good years in recent memory. The Devils, for a long time, haven't really done a whole lot, and this would be their first division title since 2010 if they won it. So seeing some fresh faces after Carolina and New York and some of these teams would be really cool. Of course, I know Washington had their moment, but this is a totally different Washington team we've talked about already for the year, and for them in Washington to find some major success after being stuck in a rut as recently as last year would be incredible to see either a team that finished 7th in the division winning it the season after, or a side that got knocked out in the first round by a sweep, barely making the wild card, going on to win the division as well too. So New Jersey, in my eyes, is capable of winning the Metro, but time will tell. So anyway, what are your thoughts on New Jersey at this stage of the season? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Hey, have a great night. And you can love hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.